Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gather Them Podcast. I'm your host Jerome, and we're back for another episode. It's been such a draining month, but I'm so glad we're here. Um, I feel like my brain is like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even have a script for this week, so I'm gonna be so honest. I might not even be here that long. Like, we literally are probably gonna be here for like 30 minutes, like, not even. It's been a fucking lot. Like, lately. So if you listen to the last week's episode, and my contact, this is also why you're gonna know that it's literally gonna be time for me to go because my contact is bothering me and I'm like, I I can't. This is where I'm at. Um but I mean, if you listen to last week's episode, you heard about what my brother's passing. So I'm still dealing with that. I'm still dealing with work, and things are still chaotic. And it's interesting about the election, like the whole thing, how that happened, and it feels almost like. I mean, folks are, of course, revolutionizing or like trying to figure out things, but it feels almost like there's this collective shock that like everyone feels kind of paralyzed or like trapped in um the system, and it's almost like, I don't know, I just am tired. I hate being like a person that's in the in between. Like, I acknowledge like having that power to like lift people up, but sometimes I just be like, and that'd be like my villain era side. I'd be like, "Ugh, I just want to save myself," but then I'd be like, no, actually, you should do something good for humanity, I guess, and like try to help people. But it's hard when you be trying to do both. Like, and I think I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I really need to just start putting me first in a lot of situations. And so recently I realized I was like, I need to move because I like after my brother passed, I think I was just kind of like, well, what now? Like, you know what I mean? Like literally Azalea Banks, where she was like, so girl, what's going on? Like, what, and it's like every time I feel like am like moving a little bit further away from the event, it's almost like things just keep happening to pull me back in. Um, and I'm working through that. I'm like working through like some of the frustration or some of the like sadness and things like that. So it's just been really important for me to like really take some time, breathe, decompress, have my little like sometimes I just go in a little angry fit and I just be like, you know what? I need to go to bed or I need to eat. And then that's the thing. But see, I think my problem has become now I don't like getting trapped in because I'm the kind of person where I don't know, like, there are times when I can pull myself out of like being into games or being into like movies and this and that and the other. But at the same time, I just feel like there's so much happening. And it's like, I can't really even, I don't even want to distract myself because it feels so pressing. Um, and so I think I'm now thinking of ways of like, well, what are ways that I can like check out that are not going to allow me to be as like maybe tapped in. And some of it is like I just turned my phone off today at work because I was just like, I can't do this. Like I can't like even with the fact that like you can do the what is it, the D&D mode and like all of that, it's like the fact that like you still have to I mean you still have to have a online presence if you're trying to build a community or if you're trying to like do private practice stuff and um then there's still life. Like you still have to do life stuff. And it's like, well, when do you ever have time to do that? So and I'm also eating right now. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't really give a fuck. Um, we had a president elect that, I mean, everybody's doing everything that they want to do. I'll just say it that way. And so I guess I could do anything that I want to do, right? So I'm eating some unsponsored Mexican takeout. Yeah, that's where we're at. Um, What else has been going on? So yeah, so I mean, I'm doing a move, which is like I am looking forward to that being over. Like I hate moving. Oh my god. Like the fact that and this is something that's been coming up for me and just the idea of moving is like stuff, like what's important and what's not. Like I feel like especially when I'm renting a space, I'm someone that's like very practical of like this is how much space I have. Like I know I'm not going to be here forever and XYZ. And it's like growing up in a house where you're like literally like you've lived here or lived there for since you were like a kid or like high school or whatever. It's like this is a whole fucking house. Like this is a lot to think about. So when I put it into perspective, I was like, well, I could always just like throw everything out and just or sell everything and just make everything um my own or like go into the future like having like my own things. And so I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And then I like the new technological advances and stuff. I like the fact that a lot of things are multifunctional. I like having when I love when a TV, for example, I love when a TV can connect to the Bluetooth, the speakers, um, or I guess the sound bar, the Bluetooth on your phone or whatever. Um, that you can just kind of like play a video from your phone on your TV. Like I like that stuff because I'm the kind of person where I like to maximize my space in that way. So if I'm like cooking, I like having the TV on so that I can kind of watch or get an idea or have something I'm familiar with in the background. So it's not as like miserable, where you do the thing. And so yeah, I feel like I am in a period where I'm just being forced by the universe, I guess, to do nothing or just do stuff that's like I don't know, that disconnects me in a way. Um, because it's a lot of stuff like in the world right now. And I'm like, yikes, the fact that like people have to like clean it up is crazy. Like and I think it's also around the holidays. That's why I'm like, I don't know why we have a major election around the holidays. It just sours everything. Like, why would you do that? Like that doesn't make sense. Um, but anyway, uh past the election, like once this move and stuff is done, I guess I'll feel in a better headspace. I just feel like really exhausted, like mentally, with having to just still figure out, okay, like having multiple things like piled on top of each other. That's like the thing that's really a lot to me. And so, yeah, but it'll work out. It's just getting through this part. The fall, interestingly enough, I talk to like sometimes clients about this, but like interestingly enough, patterns are things that I recognize in my life, and they always help give me some information about, um, what's going on. But this feels like a pattern that's like that don't even make sense. Like usually, it feels for me like the fall time is the time when things start to get chaotic. I remember there were years where I could vividly remember, like when I went to Penn State in my undergrad, and was it my sophomore year? I I started working at a at on campus dining. Um, I fell off from the gym like so bad, but I needed to work because you go to expensive school out in the middle of nowhere, then you kind of have to figure it out. But well, Penn State isn't expensive. It's just like it's expensive. Fuck it. Like I don't give a fuck. Um, College is overly priced. You can just kind of find this stuff out on your own now. Um, yeah, so you go to this expensive school, you're trying to figure out like, well, what the fuck? Like, you are 20 something, you don't know anything about money and this, that, and the other. And so I remember my laptop, like literally, oh my God. And that was like the thing like that stressed me out the most was the fact that um it was like a series of unfortunate events that was happening. And I was like still trying to learn my job. And, I think was having imposter syndrome because I was feeling like, not imposter syndrome in a way in which I felt like I couldn't do it, but in a way in which like this isn't I don't want to do this job. Like this is just the job I have. And so I feel like this doesn't feel right. It's just a job. And uh I remember my camera broke, which was also a big deal for me at the time because I wanted to take photography, but I figured if I took it that semester or a different one. But I wanted to take like photography class and I wanted to just do all these things. And then things got better for me in the spring. I do remember that, but there's been like patterns like that where I'm like, oh yeah, around this time has been kind of wild for me when I think about it. But things often get better in the spring once I have adjusted. But I'm just tired of adjusting. I'm like so like ugh, like can we just pull the plug on adjusting and just be, I guess. And it's different. It feels like very different, I think, to me though, too, because of just how even like the systems, like not even just the election, but like I said, I was talking to my coworkers about this, but like I was on public transportation this week and I don't even want to say it while I'm eating, but I almost stepped to something that was like either diarrhea or vomit. And I wanted to fucking like I don't know what I would have did. That would have been my 13th reason probably. I'm not gonna lie. It was a very, very disgusting puddle. And it was crazy because I caught myself. It was like my reflexes were I was walking down the steps. And you know how when you're walking down the steps, you sometimes can't see the bottom, the step like coming after it. And so it was one of those like situations where it was so far down that I didn't see it and I was like running trying to catch the trolley and then next thing you know it's like pile of vomit. And then I remember I got off at that stop before and there was a pile of shit like the sloshiest, most disgusting. Like literally like someone just couldn't even like all the pee and poop just like mixed together. Disgusting, yes. Um And that's literally what I like see regularly. And I'm just like, this is like, what the fuck? I was talking to a coworker today. I was like, girl, we ain't never seen no shit like this before in Philly. Like, this is bad. And of course, like SEPTA is threatening to strike, which honestly, when I think about I'm like, they have every right to. I mean, it's not safe to be on public transit and you're actually risking your life um, pretty significantly by being on public transit. So I fully support whatever they, decide to do. Um, I mean, it is what it is because it's like you can't, play around with people's safety and just expect that like everybody's just going to be okay with that. So um, I just want to make it just clear, like, my like me having my experience with like that is like minuscule in the sense of like the bigger problem, but it's almost like I see the ways in which the system is like falling apart like right before our eyes. And I was talking to my friend um Alyssa about this on Instagram via DMs and we are just like it's like a glitch in the matrix or something because oh my god that one guy Blanco Bunny or Bunny Blanco. I don't know, but he's like the sexiest man alive, and I'm like, who are you? Like, I don't even know who are you. And it was funny because I was talking to another one of my followers, and she was saying that the sexiest man should have been a woman, and I'm like, that actually would have been really tea because when you think about it, right? When you think about it, you think about the fact that like women have dominated 2024, so. Um, I was like, that would have been really tea or a really like good way to kind of end the madness. But I was just like, and then, oh my god, and the Tinashe didn't get a fucking Grammy nomination, and I was like, all I wanted was one. Like, I just wanted one nomination. Like, I did not want, she didn't have to win or anything, and I was just like, yep, it's just time for me to just turn this phone off. So I will be so happy to do that. Um, looking very much forward to that. I have to pull up the outline, which I said there's not really much of an outline. Oh, I've also been something I will talk about later on, but I've been learning about cryptocurrency a lot and some of this like stuff, and I just find it so interesting. I mean, I guess I won't talk too much about it, but kind of sort of in a cult. Um, yeah, ask me about it if you want. Let me just see. Sorry, y'all, I don't even got the outline up. That's crazy. Like, how am I even functioning right now? And then I don't like sometimes with with the fact that like I have a lot of thoughts during the day, all my notes end up getting lost, or like I end up not being able to find them. Like, why can't I find this? Oh, here we go. But yeah, I did want to say, okay, so we're actually moving along pretty well. I gave you guys some catching up. That was we were our goal. Yep. Election gave you a little bit, not too much. Um, oh, which I can talk about that shit now because I think I said before I couldn't talk about it, but I ended up not working that night, and I was just like, fuck it. I guess I can talk about it now. I just can't talk about it in the office, which oh god, I hate this system. In the way things work. Um, the rest of my October was good. Something really fun that I did reflecting was I didn't have any plans on Halloween, and I actually ended up a going to South Street, which is like well Bainbridge, but it's South Street essentially. But just kind of sitting there and watching like people in their Halloween costumes. That was really fun. Um, and yeah, and then after that, the weekend came and like flew by, and it was almost like you didn't even really remember that it was. You didn't really like remember it was like October, just like a couple weeks ago. And then went to the melting pot, with my sister, which was fun. Uh, which did a vegan restaurant, which was really cool there. And I've been training. I'm going to like different classes. Um, I think I was supposed to do cycling last week, but I didn't do it. But I did what was it, like a body pump class, which is if you've ever done it's like a high repetition workout but low weights. So you do a lot of reps. And it's wild because you think like, oh, like 5 pounds here, 2.5 pounds there. It's like, no, it really like after you start really working, it really starts to you feel it, like it adds up. That's one of my like I like going to that class when I feel like if I can't go, see my trainer or whatever, then I like going so that I can still feel like I got a good workout in. And it's only like 45 minutes. So it's not even a full hour. Like I love it. And then I was going to go to a spin class, but I think I was like, girl, I'm tired. Um, which is like, fine. But yeah, then November, I feel like it's just been a lot of the same. The next couple weeks will be interesting because of the holidays and moving, of course. But like, I also feel like this transition with the seasonal affective transition it's like really hit me. Like I'm the kind of person where um I I struggle with it. Like I don't know if anyone else struggles with it. Uh or at least struggles with it right off because it feels like immediate. Like I just know it. Like I notice it. I feel it. It's the shift. It's I feel like my body is like so tired. And it's falling apart off the hinges. But usually like midway, like I'll say by the time Christmas is over, I'm usually like deep enough into it, and New Year's. I'm pretty much deep enough into it to have like accepted it. And oftentimes at that point I'm good. But um Oh, I did want to move into the media corner, which my media corner, which I don't have much to talk about, but I just been feeling like Quantum Baby has been living rent free in my head. Um, Production, like everything about it. Like when I hear this project and I think about Baby Angel, I'm like, I keep hearing stuff that I didn't hear before, or it's like synchronicities or things that are just coming up that I'm not that I am maybe thinking about in the back of my mind, or I'm like connecting them, and I'm like, girl, what you doing over there? It sounds like a little bit of a little witchery over there. Um, yeah, she's eating them up, and the lyrics are good too. And I love the idea of like this quantum mechanic stuff that we've been like talking about, and the metaphysics and all of that behind it, because even though science says like, oh, we're not really sure, like it's all theories, it's like, well, isn't that kind of what people say about religion? Like that's, I mean, it's, we don't really know, because we can't test it, but it's almost like you have to believe, just in the same ways you would have to believe that, like, even though you're going through a hard time, you'll get through another one. Like that's literally what it is. It's almost like you just have to have like this inner knowing or inner strength. I and just being very good with the flow and like trying on these different personalities, because I remember, what was his name? Anthony, I say this every time, Anthony Fantano, but I always forget his name because it's like not who you would I don't know. Like I just feel like he's more listening for something different than I am. And so I'm like in my brain, like, you're not hearing that this is a project and that it's connecting, and there's this really abstract thing that's happening. And I think that that's, some people are going to get it and some people aren't. And that's kind of sort of what I felt about when I finally heard 333, and I was like, oh, this should have been the album that got her hot. I was like, oh, you really got to just kind of be tapped in to it. And then I also wanted to talk about that Addison Rae song, Diet Pepsi, and Delulu by Nisa? Nisha? I like that. I like that song. I really do like that song. First of all, I love the idea that like people are talking about being more delusional to get what they want, or being like so like taken to the point of being like unhinged. That's like my idea. Like that's literally my self concept. My self concept is literally like I am just taken to the edge. Like that is what is so funny to me about it, and the fact that I love the synth beat. I love the uh, the gothic feel of it. I kind of like that in like a lot of these songs, like that synth part that gets added into it. I think that that's like really um, it's a really cool to like way to kind of innovate the new and old. Um, And then also with Addison Rae's Diet Pepsi, I thought it was funny because I liked the song and I was like, I can't figure out why I like the song. And then I thought about it and I was like, it does kind of sort of remind me of Lana Del Rey a little bit. Um, mm, but it's still a good song. Nonetheless, I think that it's worth trying out some new music because you just never know what you're going to find. Like, I think people are very critical about a lot of these new artists not having um the music not being as good, because I hear two arguments. I hear two. One is that the music's not as good as people say it is, and then the other argument is that like people don't pay homage. um and in that, I think that both things are true. I think that um some of these younger artists do need to be a little bit more respectful, but at the same time I also get like you're not going to kiss somebody's ass. Like I get that. And I don't think that's what anyone's asking. Like like people are just, they like to know like the story. I think like people like to know like who inspired you. Like when I talk about stuff, I'd be like, oh my god, like Bad for Lashes got me through some tough shit. Like Florence and the Machine got me through some tough shit. Um, Tinashe got me through some tough shit. Like, and then just being able to, as an artist, articulate why that is, I think really resonates with people, and I think that that's what people maybe are looking for in that. So just writing it off as like, oh, whatever, I just don't. I just don't, feel like whatever about this person, or I feel like, whatever. I'm not going to just sit up here and just say, oh my God, they're my idol. Especially the fact that when people do it, so I mean, a lot of people have gotten burnt from that. Like a lot of people have gotten. I mean, Nicki Minaj, for example, like you kiss someone's ass, and the next thing you know, you say one thing, and it's like, well, now what? So I get it. Like I get why people don't do it. Um, I can't wait to get a new chair too. Like this is like really a lot with this squeakiness. I need to get some like WD-40, honestly. Um, what else? But yeah, I love those songs. Those are two songs I've been listening to lately, and I'm like, oh yeah, those songs are actually really good. And I feel like they're both very catchy. Like they're very radio friendly songs that aren't. Um, we have to like we're redefining. I feel like what radio friendly maybe sounds like in some ways. Because like I said, like, and I just want to, I don't know anything about Addison Rae, but like, yeah, Lana Del Rey got played on the radio, but like they had to remix her song first to like get. I mean, they remixed "Summertime Sadness," which is like literally depressing ass song, um, just for her to get a radio, like get on the mainstream radio. And so I feel like I don't know any. Like I said, I don't know anything about her, so I don't know if she's like you know fully like if she's tied into a label or like if she's writing her own music. I don't know anything. Like I really don't know. And I kind of don't care. And I feel like that just makes me kind of just like her a little bit. Um, and people talk about, oh, well, she's, people are still in like all these dances and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I can't fight every fight. I really can't. I'm so sorry. I'm like one person, and if I like somebody, I'll like them. But if you tell me that they stole, then I'll make sure I keep that in the back of my head. But it's just like I can't hold space for people I don't know in that way, if that makes sense. Because there's just so much going on. I don't know. I don't even know this person. Like I don't know anything about this person. So but I think she's like really cool. Like just in the sense of like what like the song she's on. Like I love her on Von Dutch as well. The remix, like that's a good ass song, which is again, I don't understand why people don't like that song. I need to listen to Megan's new album. Maybe that's what I'll do over the next couple days is I'll listen to some new stuff that I haven't listened to. Um and try to watch some new movies to be maybe more tapped in. But we'll see. Give me something to talk about, round me out a little bit. But yeah, that's basically it. The only other thing, like I said, for the final thought, I just wanted to talk really quickly about um, crypto stuff. But something I'm finding like really interesting, I think, and it's almost like we're in this like moment in time where like it feels like we're living in another historical event because we are, and yet I don't know, it feels like we're not like learning anything from these historical events that feels significant. Like at this point everyone's just pointing fingers and not looking at the things that are right in front of their eyes. And I feel like as I'm starting to dig a little deeper and I'm starting to unpack some of the ways in which like this isn't like the worst thing to ever happen. Like if like and this is a big if, like if the GOP does keep up their end of the bargain, there is I can like see the way out in my like mind's eye, and I can like see it, and I'm like slowly trying to feed people like the information or try to give people little tidbits here and there. It's just like I guess I have to accept the fact that like people aren't ready. And that's like, wow. It's like being a social worker and just knowing that there's so many easier ways to do things and to make life to almost like compartmentalize things a little bit. But there's just so much resistance, and I'm like becoming way more radical. Like I've already branded myself as like the cool social worker, the radical social worker. I am someone that's willing to push the needle forward. Um, but I'm also just like, girl, like I just want to get there. Like I don't want to have to do this again. Like I don't have to do the fighting for, and marching, and I don't feel like it. Like, and I know black women don't feel like it. And they definitely, like I said before, I'm like, they definitely don't need to be doing that. Like, it's just so ghetto around here. Like, I don't know. We going out of here. It's been 30 minutes. Um, Listen, I would just say take care of yourselves, like I'm trying to do. Accept what you cannot control. It's so hard. And the only thing that I can ever think of, or the thing that ever like grounds me back in it, is the fact that yes, there are things that I can control. And I mean, a lot of those things are just the eating, sleeping, exercising, writing, uh, meditating, taking mental space, um, talking about it in therapy, uh, just trying to continue to fill in, or not fill in. Well, not that kind of, but to yeah, to try to fill yourself back up. Because I feel like that's all you really can do right now. Is just fill yourself back up and just keep going. Yeah, and just being consistent. So if you have any letters or listener letters, any God, my brain. We're going to get this together one day. I swear we're going to get this together one day because I can't. Like I'm so like having mental fatigue on stuff that you actually want to do is crazy. Like I don't like feeling like that. That makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable to not feel like fully in my whatever. We're going to end here. Gatherthenpod, gmail.com. Yeah, letter. Gatherthenpod, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. Um, yeah, what else? This weekend, after tonight, I'm not doing shit. Like, I'm so serious. I have notes to do, but they'll get done. And then work, regular day work, stuff. But other than that, I'm just like, my brain is just, I'm unplugging. That's it. Um, but I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. I plan to come back next week because I would like to keep showing up. Trying to think. I always feel like there's always stuff I'm missing, and it's rarely ever anything important. So I think that that's what I'm gonna do. It's just kind of end and just yeah, let that be it. But I'll talk to everyone next week and have a safe and I don't know, grateful, thoughtful, insightful week. Yeah. Bye.